Yes, hello guys!
Captain Pluff here, and this is not a Pokemon video. In fact, I actually had recorded a Pokemon video where I opened some Furious Fists packs, but unfortunately, I wasn't actually recording, so that video is kind of non-existent. Instead, I decided to make a video about my other love, and that would be Magic the Gathering. Specifically, if it's going to focus, my Marath Will of the Wild EDH deck. So the thing about Marath Will of the Wild is he is an Aya general. He's a 0/0, but he comes into play with a 1/1 counter equal to the amount of mana spent to cast him. So when he first comes in, he has 3 counters. You can pay X, remove X 1/1 counters from him, and choose 1. You can put X 1/1 counters on target creature, or he deals X damage to target creature or player, or put an XX green elemental creature token onto the battlefield. Now, I'm going to be using the X green elemental token ability and the 1/1 counters mostly, and you'll see how the deck is built around that, but sometimes it's useful to be able to, cast them for 7, and then on your opponent's turn, if you've got the mana, hit something for 7 or 6 or 5 just to get rid of it, because sometimes you're in a pinch, and just he's a great toolbox general, and I would highly advise playing him if you like Naya. He is... And if you like combo, actually. Don't play him if you hate combo, because this is a combo general more than an aggro general. So, without further ado, on to the deck list. So, we're going to start with lands. And yeah, boring lands. I have 6 basic forests, 6 plains, and 5 mountains. Now, a lot of basics. I know. I do plan on updating the land base, and that is pretty much the next goal with this deck, but right now, it's a lot of basics. I'll probably do an update on this sometime in the future when I do finally fill out the lands. It's just money, land bases can be extremely expensive, so it's very budget right now. So anyways, for my lands, for my tricolor, I have Command Tower, because, you build an EDH deck with 100 cards. 1 is your general, 1 is Command Tower, and then you get to decide the other 98. I have Jungle Shrine. It comes in tap, but it taps for my 3 colors. And Ritzgrove. They only made 5 of these type of lands, but they're amazing if you can play them in your colors. So it's a lair in addition to its land type, and it comes into play. You sack it unless you put a non-lair land you control to its owner's hand. This is like the dual color bounce lands. The difference with this, though, is it doesn't come in tapped. So you can tap your land, play this, return it to hand, and tap this for mana. Anyways, on to the dual lands. So I do have a Temple Garden. It's the only shock I have, but I do plan on getting the other 2. I have a Canopy Vista. Again, it's the only, I don't even know what we call these, but it's the only dual land for the Zendikar lands that I have. Sun Petal Grove. Temple of Plenty. I do like the Scry lands personally. Selesnya Sanctuary, one of the bounce lands. So that's my Selesnya lands. Then I have a Rootbound Crag and a Gruul Turf. And that's it for Gruul. Again, I need to update the mana base quite a lot. And then I have an old school Battlefield Forge, because my game store, or the hobby shop that's near in my city, had one. So, then on to some utility lands. So I put this one first because it's a colored land. It's the only one. It's Mossfort Bridge. It has Hideaway. You can cast a Hideaway card if you have creatures with power 10 or greater altogether. Really good. Then I have Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse. These will come out when I get a better land base, but for now, I have so many basics, they're good. Temple of False God. Opal Palace, because you can cast Marath a ton of times, and extra counter is always nice. Gavany Township, because you do play tokens, so, Strip Mine. And an Inkmoth Nexus, and I know what you're thinking. Land base is expensive. Why are you playing almost a $30 card? Well, the very first deck I ever bought was Rot from Within. It's actually how I got into Magic. As you can see, there's a little bit of paint here peeled off, because something happened to it. I'm not even sure what, but I decided to put this in actually today because I wanted to make the deck more competitive. So, putting counters on that makes the deck a lot more competitive. Alright, on to some artifacts. So, Soul Ring. You could argue that this is the the 3rd card that you pretty much always include, but it's Soul Ring. Then I have Selesnya Signet and Gruul Signet. I don't have Boros in here, and I'm kind of debating on whether to put it in here or not. Signets are always great, but I don't have enough red-white cards. In fact, I don't think I have any Boros cards in this deck. So the 2 Signets right now is really good. Gilded Lotus, and then another expensive card that I actually got off a friend from trading when it was cheaper than it is now. But Phyrexian Altar, you sacrifice a creature, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Great combo enabler. As well as Ashnod's Altar. Sack a creature to add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. So it's not colored, but it is 2 mana, and using them both together can be really good. So really good card. And then I just have a pair of Lightning Greaves. Well, I guess a single Lightning Greaves, but pair, you know. And a Skull Clamp. Skull Clamp is great for tokens. Creep creature gets +1, -1, and then when the creature dies, you draw 2 cards. So you put it on token and draw 2. Alright, so on to creatures. I realize I probably should have separated these piles before, but you know. So, I start off with the Birds of Paradise. Is it gonna... It's not gonna focus? No? We're gonna... Okay, there we go. It's gonna be difficult. So, Birds of Paradise, flying, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. It is pretty sweet. Gets Marath on curve. Scourge Tribuilder because I'm playing green. Solemn Simulacrum because it's Sad Robot. Then I'm running Karametra God of Harvest. Now, this is an optional card. It's easily one you could take out and swap in. It's an indestructible 6/7 9 times out of 10 because I have so much green and a fair amount of white. But mainly it's whenever you cast a creature spell, you get a forest or plains and put it on the battlefield tap, so it grabs you your basics and duels, so it's, you know, I like it. Then I'm on to Token Creator, so I have Dragon Master Outcast, 1 red for 1/1, beginning your upkeep. If you have 6 or more lands, put a 5/5 red dragon creature with flying onto the battlefield. It's pretty good, actually. It usually draws removal, but for 1 red to draw removal is actually quite nice, and if they don't remove it, well then on your upkeeps you're getting a 5/5. It could be taken out for other things, but I like it. Then I'm running Brimaz, King of Oreskos. This is a really good early game card, but I usually like to put counters on him with Marath. That way I can swing in with, you know, maybe put 3 on him, so I swing with a 3/7 and get a, you know, a 1/1 whenever I attack, and then if they attack and I block, I get another 1/1, can get any Enter the Battlefield triggers with it, so it's quite nice. Then I play Geist Honored Monk. Its power toughness equal to the amount of creatures I control, and when it comes in I get 2 1/1 white spirit creatures with flying. The reason I run this is because I need creatures with flying to be able to block. My one buddy plays Prosh, and it's a really bad matchup for this deck because flying can kill it, and so him dealing 21 commander damage is not that hard to do. Then I'm running Michaeloth. Devour 2. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you put a 1/1 green sapling creature on the battlefield for each 1/1 counter on him, so you can add counters with Marath, or Gravity Township, or Cathar's Crusade, let's say. He eats things and becomes bigger. I usually only eat maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 creatures. I don't like making them too big, because then, especially if you're playing multiplayer, then you become a huge target. Then I'm running Rampaging Baloth. I'm actually going to take this card out for the new Omnath. I completely forgot about Omnath. Second ability of when an elemental dies, you get to deal 3 damage to something, and I forgot that Marath makes elementals. So, although that's a red one, he does make green, but still. So it's 6 mana for a 6/6 with Trample, and you get a 4/4 green beast whenever a land enters your battlefield. Omnath gives you a 5/5 elemental, but it's a little more mana intensive, and it's 1 mana more, but this will be coming out for it because of the elemental damage. Then we have Dragon Broodmother. 2, 3 green, and a red. So it's really red intensive. Or sorry, did I say 3 green? Sorry, 3 red and a green. Has flying, and at the beginning of each upkeep, so your opponent's 2, you put a 1/1 green and red dragon creature token with flying and Devour 2 into play. So you get tokens on your opponent's turns. If you're playing a multiplayer match, this card is bonkers. Then I play Avenger's Zendikar because it's green. Then I run Mirror Entity. I really like this card. Changeling, and so it's every creature type, and then you can pay X, and creatures you control become XX and gain all creature types in the end of turn. It's not uncommon for my deck to produce 20 mana a turn, so making everything a 20/20 and swinging for, you know, like 10 creatures is pretty good. It also makes everything all creature types, so this card will help me when I'm playing the new Omnath, because if somebody decides to board wipe, and let's say I have Asceticism on the field or something like that, and I can actually protect him and regenerate him, or they use Black Sun Zenith or Life's Finale. Not Life's Finale. It's the one, I can't remember what it's called, but it's 1 black 2, and you can pay life. You can pay life to board wipe to give negative until end of turn. So if I could put Omnath outside of the range and then turn everything into a Changeling at the same time, everything that dies will deal damage. So this card's really good. Then I play Ogre Battle Driver because giving things haste is great, and 2/0 when you make 10 tokens is awesome. Come on, Fist of Kroza. He can make lands creatures, really good to deter board wipes, because you can turn your opponent's lands into creatures, and creatures you control get 3/3 and gain trample until end of turn for 5, so you can reuse that a lot. Then I'm running Mentor the Meek. Whenever I get a creature with 2 or less into the battlefield, I can draw a card, or pay 1 and draw a card, so he's good for draw. for draw. Then I have Regal Force. 7 mana, 5/5, but he draws a card for each green creature. It's not uncommon for me to tooth and nail for this and Avengers Zendikar if I really need draw. Then I have Reclamation Sage to blow things up, and a Seedborn Muse. You really don't need this card in this deck, but I like it for how I play it. I like to be able to use Marath's abilities on my opponent's turn, so untapping things on everybody's turn is quite nice. Then for recursion, I have an Eternal Witness, a Japanese Eternal Witness, Karmic Guide, because it's Karmic Guide, and a Sun Titan. I also need a Revel Arc for this deck, but because I don't have it, I'm not really showing it. And then I have 3 Planeswalkers. So I have Grook Wildspeaker, because he untaps lands, makes tokens, and gives me a trample effect. Whoops. Then I have Xenagos the Reveler. His plus ability to make red or green mana equal to the number of creatures you control is broken. You can pay 0 to get a 2/2 Satyr, so if you drop him turn 3 or 4 and make a Satyr, it's pretty good. And his -6, well, I usually whiff on that, so why bother? Then I have Elspeth Sun Champion. I can put 3 soldier tokens. I can destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater, which against my buddy's Prosh deck is really nice. And I get an emblem with creatures you control have 2/2 and flying. I never really get that off, especially because, flyers can hit this deck and hit the Planeswalkers pretty easily. But, yeah, making 3 soldiers is pretty good. Then, on to enchantments. So, the enchantments are the crux of the deck. I do not have Doubling Season. Before anybody gets on my ass in the comments, no, I do not have Doubling Season. Yes, I know I need it. I want it. Should have bought it when it was 25, like a year ago, but now it's 50 and even harder to get. I know. I want it too. So, anyways, I'm running Sterling Grove. 1 green, 1 white. All of the enchantments you control can't be the target's spell ability, so it gives hexproof. And I can pay 1 and sack it, search for a library for an enchantment, put it on, or reveal it, put it on top of your library. And then I play Sun Titan or attack with it and put this back on the field. Because I have some pretty broken enchantments in here, so this card is amazing. One of them is Parallel Lives. It doubles your tokens. It's not Doubling Season. And I don't have Primal Vigor. I don't want to play Primal Vigor because my buddy plays Prosh and I play against him most. So I really don't want to give him doubled tokens and counters, but I run Parallel Lives. Then I run Cryptolith Rite. It's a new card. It's 2 mana. Creatures you have had tapped, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. I make tokens. This card is amazing. Mana Echoes. When a creature comes into play, you add 1 colorless for each creature that shares a type with it, or each other. So I play Marath, I make a token, get 1 mana, make another token, get 2 mana, make another token, get 3. Repeat. This is an infinite combo enabler, actually. Aura Shards. Blows up artifact or enchantment, a May ability whenever I play a creature. This card has killed more people than anything else in my deck. Everybody should know what Perforos does. If you know anything about Marath or any token deck that could play red, or even just red decks, you know what he does. He deals 2 damage to each player for whenever creature enters your field. I usually tooth and nail for him and Avengers Zendikar if I really want to just win. Beastmaster Ascension. When you attack with a creature, put a quest counter on it, you may, and then when it has 7 or more, your creatures get 5/5. This kills people. Cathar's Crusade. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. This, with either of the altars and Marath, is an infinite combo. I pay 1, make a token. Everything gets a 1/1 counter, replacing the one on Marath and giving everything else a counter. I sack that token for mana. Then I use that mana to make another token. Everything gets a counter. Then I sack it for mana. Then I use that mana to make another token. Everything gets a counter, and rinse and repeat as many times as you want. Asceticism. Giving all your creatures hexproof is great, and regenerating them is even better. Zendikar Resurgent. A new card. I do like this. I know Mana Reflections is really good, but I really like this one. It's 1 mana more, and it's only when your lands tap for mana do they add 1 more of any type that land produced. But whenever you cast a creature spell, you can also draw a card. So this is really good to drop turn 6 or 7 and then start playing creatures, drawing cards, and doubling your mana. And then I play O-Ring, because I like to get rid of threats. Then I just have some instants and sorceries. So for instance, I'm running, your basic white removal, Path to Exile, and Swords to Plowshares. Crows and Grip, because it has Split Second. Return to Dust, because I can get rid of 2 things. Beast Within, because it gets rid of everything. Playing Naya Charm. A lot of people don't run this, but I really like it. It can put it can deal 3 damage to something, or return a card from the graveyard to its owner's hand. You can use this with other people to play the politics game if you need to, or just return something to your hand. Or it taps all creatures target player controls. This has saved me actually quite a few times, this last ability. Then I play Eldamri's Call. It's a creature tutor. Puts it into your hand. And Court of Calling. Court of Calling. it's amazing. Convoke is so easy, and you can put it on the field. I really like getting a Eternal Witness, putting it back, then getting Karmic Guide, sacking Eternal Witness to an altar, and putting it back, and then getting it again, and then going for Sun Titan, sacking Eternal Witness and Karmic Guide to play Sun Titan, get back Eternal Witness, put Karmic Guide in your hand, play Karmic Guide, sack the Sun Titan and Eternal Witness in response. It gets back Sun Titan, get back Eternal Witness, get back Court of Calling. You know, it's pretty fun. Then White Sun Zenith, because it's an instant speed, put tokens onto the field. I do want Secure the Wastes instead of this, but I have this for now, so. And finally, I've got some sorceries. So, Cultivate and Kodama's Reach, and Skyshot Claim, because they're your basic ramp cards. Then I've got Harmonize, allows you to draw 3 cards in this deck, that's really good. Green Sun Zenith, it's an amazing creature tutor. Primal Command, this will come out when I get a Worldly Tutor, but it has 4 modes, you can choose 2. You can have target player gain 7, or put target non-creature permanent on top of its owner's library, or target player shuffles his or her graveyard into their library, or you search for a creature, put it into your hand. So, I usually gain the life and search for a creature, but sometimes I'll put something on top to mess up somebody's next draw, or, you know, sometimes if you really need to get rid of something, you can put something on top of their deck and then shuffle it away by shuffling the graveyard back in. It can also stop graveyard abilities, like a Marin deck. And then I have Tooth and Nail. I got this card when it was like $8, and it's jumped to like $25, so I'm really glad I got it when I did. I used to have an Omnath Locus of Mana deck, so that's where some of these green staples came from. 9 mana, you get 2 things and put them onto the field. It's amazing. That's pretty much what this card says. It says 9 mana, grab Perforos and Avenger Zendikar. You win. Then I have Hull Breach, destroy a target artifact or enchantment, or both. Why not play it? Vandal Blast, destroy each artifact you don't control by paying 5. Or you can just destroy 1 if you really need to for red. It's amazing. Then I have Day of Judgment, because I don't have Wrath of God, but even though your opponents can regenerate with Asceticism, so can you, so I don't mind Day of Judgment. And then I'm actually trying a new card. So this is the last card in the deck. It is Collective Effort. It is pretty interesting. It has Escalate, so you tap an untapped creature you control for each mode beyond the first. It's really cool because I make so many tokens, it doesn't really matter. So you pay 3, tap 2 creatures, and you can choose 1 or more. Destroy a target creature with power 4 or greater, destroy target enchantment, or put a 1/1 counter on each creature target player controls. So you can help somebody else out, or you can give yourself a bunch of counters. I really like this card because it allows me to destroy something big, and then blow up one of their enchantments, and then give everything a 1/1 counter, all for 3 mana and tapping 2 measly tokens. It's been pretty good, and it's flexible. If I can only do 1, well, it's flexible. It'll help me. For 3 mana, it's actually been a pretty good card so far, even though I've only used it a couple times. So right now it's in the deck. I could take it out, but I like it. So that is my Marath Will of the Wild deck. I am really proud of this deck. I do need to fix land base, and there's a few cards I need, like Doubling Season and Worldly Tutor, but I think this is a very solid list. It's more of a combo deck than it used to be, but it's still very aggressive even. I don't always win with combos. And Inkmoth Nexus is the newest win con I put in. The only thing I want to show you, if anybody's interested, I have tokens that I made a while ago, actually. I loved Fairy Tail, so I made, Dragon Broodmother token. This is the first one I ever made. It's horrible. I usually look online, actually, all about the plant token. I looked online, found an image, and kind of copied it. So, another dragon token. This is really bad. But I've got this adorable 5/5 dragon. My Urza tokens. This one's really bad. It's the first one I did, but this is the second more clean one. And then this is my favorite of the 1/1 soldiers. They're very messy. This is Happy with a lazy eye and with no hand. So, Panther Lily has a 1/1 cat, and then my plant token, which is actually painted. The other ones are markered except for the Charizard one. I painted this one, and I designed it all myself. So I'm kind of proud of this one, even though it does look like crap. But, So, that was my Marath Will of the Wild deck. It's an extremely fun deck to play, and it can be very powerful. It does have some bad matchups, but especially flying matchups. But it's a toolbox deck, and it's a combo deck, and it is a lot of fun. So if you like Naya colors and you're thinking about playing him, I say you should. He is the best general I've ever used, and that's even compared to Omnath and Rune. And by best, I mean my Rune deck was probably more powerful, but this deck's a lot more fun and doesn't just stall the game out until my opponent, mills out or whatever. So, yeah. But, no. So this is my Marath Will of the Wild deck, as I've said a few times before. And I hope you enjoyed. And I will talk to you next time. Bye!